This is the Pokemon game where you play as a Team Galactic member. The goal is to try to make it all the way to the top of Mount Coronet to be a part of Team Galactic. We're going to be playing as Saturn, and let's try our best and see how this goes. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try to get to 500 likes, and also make sure to subscribe. Either way, let's start. We're playing as Saturn, and the game has two modes. There's a normal mode and also a hard mode, where basically if you lose a battle, the whole challenge is over. So definitely try that yourself, guys. Either way, we learned that basically we, as the Saturn character here, we basically just didn't have any support within this region. And actually, the professor we were talking to stole some of the information that we had uncovered. So we head over to a meeting with Team Galactic, where they basically send us into the wilderness. Yes, we're in the wilderness. We receive a Toxicroak to be our starter Pokemon, and now we can go into these boxes that have loads of different items that we can take, which we can then use as well. They'll be needed because there is no Pokemon centers or anything like that around. So we head north because, of course, it makes the most sense. It's the only direction to go in. We find a checkpoint, and then we run into Mason. Now, Mason is a trainer here who doesn't let us go. He's basically forcing us to battle him if we want to make any progress. So he's also trying to be a part of Team Galactic. However, it's only the best that makes it all the way to the top. So we go get ourselves a machete. That'll be useful to take down some trees later on. But another thing we have to do to actually battle Mason here is to capture 2 more Pokemon. So we get ourselves, well, basically a Luxio, which is awesome, and loads of other Pokemon. The thing with Luxio, though, is after we capture it, we just do a little bit of leveling, and it already evolves into a Luxray. But remember, we also got a few more Pokemon. You guys can see them all on the side here. We got a Stunky, we also got a Curlia, whatnot. So we have a decently sized team to be able to take on Mason now. So now it's time to take on Mason. Of course, his team is going to be, well, quite difficult. So let's see how it goes. Well, the first thing is, though, he's going to be sending out a Pyroar. We start with Poison Jab, which we actually managed to poison the Pyroar with. And then afterwards, he also tries to hit us with a Solar Beam, which in this case is really weird because it just... the animation looks a bit different, but nonetheless, thanks to the poison and a second poison jab, we take down the Pyroar. However, then there is a Noivern. This one hits us with a Boom Burst. We get the Toxic on it, of course, because we want to make sure we do that, again, chip damage over time, making sure that it will not survive. So then we also use our friend Luxray to finish things up here. We go for a Thunder Shock, which doesn't do enough to take it down in a single hit. However, the poison comes in and takes down Noivern. The next Pokemon on his team, though, is going to instead be somebody else, which you guys may recognize. It's Doublade. In this case, it hits us with a Shadow Sneak. We get the Thunder Shock off, which does a decent amount of damage, but not enough to actually defeat this fella right off the bat, so that is a little bit annoying. But a second Thunder Shock comes in, and this time around we get the Paralysis, and basically at this point, sure, we do lose Luxray, but we come back in with Toxicroak and a Shadow Ball. It's all that's necessary. So Doublade is down, and that also means that we pretty much defeated Mason. That's one of the first people defeated, and also our Stunky now evolves into a Skuntank. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. So now that we've done that, we got to keep exploring and looking around the area. First thing we do is head towards the east side of the map, and here we actually find another one of those boxes. Now, these boxes are something you definitely should look inside of, because you can get stuff like dive balls, as well as other things like a water stone. So if you find Pokemon that you can evolve with these things, definitely go and check the boxes to be sure. For whatever reason, I decided to capture a Pelipper, which was a big mistake because there's no PC in this game to leave your Pokemon. So whatever you do end up capturing is what you are stuck with, okay? You're basically stuck with whatever choices you make here, as far as I can tell. So again, I went for a Pelipper for whatever reason. Don't ask me why. So now that we've dealt with that, we head towards the north of the map. The thing with the north of the map is it's actually blocked. The access to the area is sort of just not accessible at the moment because of one specific person, Nox. Now, Nox is one of the many trainers that's going to be found throughout this game who are going to be trying to stop you as you're trying to make your progress. And in this case, we end up being totally destroyed by Nox. But in the process of being destroyed, our Curlia actually evolves into a Gardevoir, which is actually perfect. A Gardevoir will be really useful for the team, and thank God we actually got a Gardevoir and not something else. This thing is really strong. So now that we have that sorted, we try to go around looking for some other ways to get inside that place, and that's when we run into specifically Melina here. So Melina is, well, Melina's going to be a bit difficult. So Melina is a double battle, but only has 3 Pokemon, which is good for us because we have a larger amount of team Pokemon. So in this case, when we go up against the Primeape and Lapras, we do end up losing a lot of Pokemon because they do a ridiculous amount of damage to us. But eventually, with the Intimidate, thanks to our Luxray, and of course with some damage from our other teammates, we're able to kind of lower them down one step at a time. And as you may have noticed, they even switched in. They freaking switched in Arcanine instead of leaving the almost dead Primeape in there, which is genuinely frustrating. But what am I supposed to do? We just try our best here to make sure we take him down. We go and make sure we just do some water damage to the Arcanine because, again, this thing is really strong, but we are so far away from actually winning this until we get the poison off. Now, the poison is going to be great. It's just that tick damage, which will take down Lapras and eventually also Arcanine. And all we got to do is make sure we full restore and heal ourselves all the way to the top, because that's the only way we can survive this battle, to be frankly honest. So once we've done enough damage with the poison and just healing back and forth, we're able to actually take down the Primeape and Arcanine eventually as well. But first, of course, Lapras does go down. Skuntank falls as well. The Rock Tomb comes in. We do Dazzling Gleam onto the, the Primeape goes down, and then Arcanine Fire falls to the actual poison. So perfectly, we're able to take this fella down, which is great. However, now we have to figure out where to actually go. The only path we can go is back to Nox, and as you guys may remember, Nox is ridiculously strong. So this time around, we have a bit of a plan. What we do is we start off with Gardevoir, we go for Calm Mind. We don't go just for Calm Mind once. We Calm Mind about 3 times before actually doing any damage. And we do end up taking some, ancient power damage here in the process, which is fine because we're able to tank it. And, given the fact that we're getting Calm Mind off, it means that we will be so much stronger going in for our first move. Dazzling Gleam does a lot of damage, but the Exeggutor survives on 1 HP, so we have to go for another hit, which is really annoying, but nonetheless, after this, it is taken down. Now we're going to deal with the rest of the team, though, because this is Nox, and Nox uses a pretty much full team of Pokemon. So Alakazam is out next. Here we go for the Dazzling Gleam. Again, it survives on 1 HP. We do actually eat up that Shadow Ball. It's thanks to that special defense that we have from Calm Mind that's making us able to actually survive that Shadow Ball. Otherwise, we would have been totally destroyed by it. However, Miss Mime comes out next, which outspeeds us with an energy ball and takes out Gardevoir, which is genuinely frustrating. So Toxicroak with the poison, I think Fang or whatever actually comes out, takes down the, the Miss Mime, which was really misnamed, but either way, Girafarig comes out next. Here we take a Psychic Fang to the face, which takes us totally out. However, we do have Crunch on Luxray, so we go in with the Crunch against the Girafarig, trying to do as much damage as we can. Or actually, I think it crunches us, and we try to Giga Impact it, which does a lot of damage, but then, of course, we're not able to do much more after that. So we have to rely on the rest of our team. We got Mothim in here. Now, Mothim does have a pretty good set of moves. Quiver Dance is great, because what we can do is then increase our speed and our, special attack, whatever. And that's really great. However, we don't have the best set of moves at the moment, which I didn't realize until later. You can actually press your Pokemon and allow them to relearn moves they're supposed to know. But nonetheless, we've defeated Nox, which means we can finally make progress and get to a new checkpoint. So as we're exploring, we do discover some new Pokemon. Like, for example, there are Magmars in this grass. However, as I mentioned before, we don't really have much of an option in terms of capturing them because our team is already full. However, instead we go and relearn some moves, look at some possible new moves we can give to our Pokemon. There's loads of options in there, so just definitely use that. Next though is a battle against Dimitri. Now Dimitri just stops us in our path. He has 4 Pokemon, so he goes for a double battle against us. He has a Shiinotic and a Dreadnought, which are kind of annoying to deal with, but nonetheless, we have a decent team on our side. So Luxray, of course, has its electric type moves, and we do have the Quiver Dance over on Mothim, which we try to get off, so just we can have like that extra speed and extra special defense and special attack, because that stuff will come in really handy. We switch in Gardevoir instead, and then a Dazzling Gleam almost takes us out. We try to go for an attack here with Air Slash on the Shiinotic, which takes us almost takes it down, but unfortunately doesn't. But the Dazzling Gleam comes through and takes them both down, so that's great. Raichu and Pelipper are up next. Here we got to make sure we do a lot of damage with our Mothim, but unfortunately the Raichu still outspeeds us with a Thunder, which is ridiculous, and Gardevoir also falls. So we got to rely on the rest of our remaining amounts of our team, which is, 4 Pokemon, but it's good Pokemon. We got Skuntank, we got Luxray, we have Toxicroak, we have, Pelipper, which is not as good, but we have a large amount of teammates left that can still do a lot of work. So we go for the Poison Gas to make sure we, just pretty much poison these guys off so they can't really stop us. Then I think we just got it with the Electro Ball or something there, or Volt Switch in this case, which is perfect because then the poison comes through and we got to switch in the Pelipper or actually Luxray again because it was Volt switched, and then we have to switch in the regular Pokemon because our previous one died. So it's just a nice combination of moves here going off, and we get the win against Dimitri and also a new set of moves. But nonetheless, we defeated him, which means we can make further progress. Then we run into Aron. Now, Aron here wants to battle us, and this path we're trying to follow up here, we need to go this way to get an item. The item we need is Power Gloves. The Power Gloves are needed to push around a rock. Normally you would need strength, the HM strength for it, but in this case we need Power Gloves. So this fella starts off with a Berserker and a Beware, which is a really annoying combo to have. We do indeed though have the Intimidate, which is great. However, we don't really have much in terms of power, like strong moves here. So we go for the Thunder Shock, try our best. We go for the Calm Mind, seeing if we can do a little bit of work there. But unfortunately, I'm scared we're not going to outspeed, which we do end up doing though. So Luxray and God are able to do a lot of damage to our fella here. However, we did Volt Switch him. So now when Toxicroak comes out, he's going to have to like survive this on his own because Gardevoir is gone. So we have to send somebody else in to deal with this situation. So we end up sending out Skuntank and he sends out a Claydol. So we take down, first of all, well, his Berserker. And now Claydol we have to still deal with. We got Lunge, which was a horrible mistake of me choosing to actually switch Bug Bite for. Shouldn't have done that. Our Pokemon there is a special attacker, not a physical attacker. So Lunge was a horrible choice by me. Shouldn't have done that. Big mistake, big oopsie, but it is what it is. There's not much I can do to change that at this point. So nonetheless, he has a Dragapult and a Claydol left to work with. They have Clear Body on that thing, so that's a bit annoying, but nonetheless, not the end of the world. We're able to do a little bit of damage here at this point, I think, as we're able to, just get a little bit of damage off with the Flamethrower. Really small amounts, though. The Psychic comes in. Thunder Shock doesn't really do much. We're in a bit of a sketchy situation, to say the least. So we try to make sure we poison both the Pokemon before we take them down here with Mothim. So we do a lot of damage. The Shadow Ball takes down Luxray, which is unfortunate, but the Quiver Dance is able to actually go through here, which is exactly what we needed. Plus, the Poison does do a little bit of damage. Pelipper does come in next, though. We go for Psychic, now that we have at least a little bit of that extra, damage to be done. And Poison actually takes down Dragapult. Now there's only Claydol left. And oh boy, well, actually, there's a Masquerini as well, but that doesn't really matter because the Claydol is the one that we're really scared of. Then we end up losing our teammate right there. Now we're left with only Pelipper, and these guys are poisoned. So we max revive one of our Pokemon as it's kind of necessary. And luckily, Pelipper is a straight-up tank, so he's able to survive all this. And we switch in Gardevoir, and now it's just pretty much waiting and hoping that we can do enough damage as well as just in overall finish off the enemy team. I mean, they're down pretty bad, okay? I mean, Claydol is really low. It's about to die from the poison, and Masquerain doesn't really stand much of a chance against two Pokemon. So all we got to do is make sure we do enough damage to take it out, which we end up doing. And there it is. Another battle is sorted. And now that we've done that, we go around looking around for the item. When eventually we find the box. Now, what's inside of it? Well, the Power Gloves and loads of other items. The Power Gloves, like I said, work like strength. We need those to get through the cave on the other side. So that's exactly what we're about to do. So now that we've actually got it here, we get rid of the rock, but before we're able to enter, Kai shows up. Now, Kai is another person who wants to battle us, to stop us in our path, so we have to defeat him before making any further progress. And apparently, he's actually the Veilstone gym leader in this universe, so yeah, the first time we try to battle him, though, we end up losing, so we have to go for a second attempt to actually take him down, because this fella is, he's got a bunch of, well, let's say fighting-type Pokemon, I think, in this case, and you may notice from his design. Hitmontop is out first. Here, in this case, we go for Calm Mind, making sure we set ourselves up pretty solidly. We do take a little bit of damage from him, but then the Dazzling Gleam takes down the Hitmontop. Next Pokemon he's going to be using is going to be, well, none else than Machamp, of course, because he is a fighting-type gym leader. That one goes down easily as well. Next is going to be Hitmonchan. Same thing here. We're sweeping through the enemy team pretty solidly with this squad right now, and with Gardevoir just being able to do a shit ton of damage. This is why I said we're so lucky. He does have a shiny Gallade, though, which you also take down in about a singular hit. So Kai has been defeated. Now we can enter the cave, and this is some sort of dark, ominous cave, which we have to explore. Our team is healed up and set. We're ready to go. We find a few items in different boxes. There's loads of boxes around this map, as you may notice. We find another one right here. Now that we've sorted out that, we got to go and try to get all the way to the top, because now we're inside of the mountain, but we got to make all the way to the top. Next up, though, is going to be Anna, who wants to battle us. She starts out with a Lapras. We try to go for Calm Mind a few times to set ourselves up as per usual. The Dazzling Gleam does do a lot of damage, but unfortunately not enough to defeat this thing, so I'm a little bit scared here, and we do get taken down by the Ice Shard. So Lapras was a disaster to deal with, and I'm not even going to lie. The Poison Jab doesn't take it down. Plus, I think it has leftovers, so it keeps healing itself. We try to go for like a Swords Dance to get our attack higher, but every time we do that, this thing just gets higher defense. So we're basically in a lose-lose situation, okay? We can't win this. It's really annoying, but the Lapras will eventually fall. We go in with Luxray, hoping we can do enough damage taken down, which we do with the Thunder Shock, because of course it's a special attack and it at higher defense, so easily it is taken down. Plus, of course, we have, everything. We have Stab on it and all that sort of stuff. Next up, there's going to be Whimsicott. We go in with Mothim. The reason we go in Mothim here is because, remember, we do have the Quiver Dance on there, and we now have Bug Buzz back, I think, so we can do a lot of damage with our special attack in this case. So we're back in here. We go for the Air Slash, which takes that thingy down, which means now we have to deal with a few more Pokemon. Togekiss up first. We do a little bit of damage to it, but the Ancient Power destroys us, so we have to rely on our last three Pokemon. Luxray is out first. We get hit with the Air Slash. The Thunder Shock does do a lot of damage and eventually does take it down too. Leaving us now with Skuntank going in against, well, who's it going to be? It's going to be none else than, of course, a freaking Melodic, man. Why is it a Melodic? I don't understand. Don't ask me, but we do poison it first and foremost. We max revive one of our Pokemon, making sure we have a strong set of Pokemon still left on the squad. Gardevoir comes back in again. We go for the Calm Mind, which is perfect. We're able to get 2 Calm Minds off before we also get poisoned, which is a little annoying. So then we go for the Dazzling Gleam, which unfortunately doesn't do as much damage as I thought it would. And Disarming Voice is not enough, but eventually with, I think a Confusion there, we do take it down. One of the last Pokemon is going to be Gardevoir. Here we get taken down, so we have to rely on our friend Luxray to come in. We try to go for the Giga Impact, but we don't actually hit it. Pelipper is left, so what we end up doing is we actually revive during Pelipper's health. We revive the Gardevoir to come back in and defeat Anna. Now that Anna is defeated, there's only really a few more battles left to go before we get to the top, and that is going to be Patrell. Okay, so this person right here is one of the members of Team Rocket. Okay, Patrell was one of the people that was part of Team Rocket, and now we have to deal with him ourselves. So what is this Rogue Rocket member going to do against us? Well, he starts off with a Cacturn, which of course is not that big of a deal of a Pokemon to deal with. We do have Mothim, which should be strong against it, so we make sure to Quiver Dance a few times. It does hit us with a Sucker Punch, which is really high damage, but the Air Slash does hit it because, well, of course it's going to hit it. Unless he has another Pokemon with Sucker Punch, we should be fine here, to be fairly honest. Like, if there's only another one of these type of Pokemon, we will be kind of in a shitty spot. But nonetheless, he's going to be using a Nidoking. And this thing, oh man, we hit it with a Psychic, which takes it out in a straight singular hit. If we didn't get the outspeed and the fact that we had the Quiver Dances, I don't think we'd be able to defeat this that easily. So thank God for Mothim and for our, just boosts here, because we're able to just boost up our damage in every sense of the word. And without that, we would be totally out and done for. So next up is going to have an Arbok, and this is where our little friend Mothim is about to run into a problem. We get hit by the Intimidate, which doesn't really do much, but the Sucker Punch is on Arbok, and the Sucker Punch takes us out. So we have to rely on Gardevoir to delete the Arbok and also to delete the Wheezing. Here we hit it with the Confusion, which takes it out in a singular hit after we've done 1 Calm Mind, with also one more thing remaining in this enemy team, which is going to be a Houndoom. And it's not just any kind of Houndoom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Mega Houndoom. Yes, it is a Mega Evolved Houndoom. We hit it with Dazzling Gleam, which takes half of its HP down. Then the Dark Pulse comes. We go for the Confusion, which doesn't affect it because I didn't realize, oh, wait a minute. It's a Dark type. What am I doing? Total idiot. Don't worry. I know I'm dumb. You don't have to tell me. But either way, we switch in Pelipper, hoping you'll be able to kind of do a little bit of damage with some, some water type moves. Because we don't really have Water Gun, to be honest, which is not really the strongest of moves, but it's able to do quite a lot of damage. The Dark Pulse comes in and takes us down, but it's left on such low HP that it doesn't really matter who we use. We should win this. So we go in with Toxicroak, and I think we do have a Sucker Punch on it, so we're able to just get that Sucker Punch off and take it out. And I should point out, his Cacturn was using a bunch of spikes on us, but it didn't really make much of a difference. So now all that remains is to exit this cave, and we have reached the top of the mountain. We have come all the way to Sky Pillar. Here, of course, the other admins like Jupiter are waiting for us, and Mars is here as well. They're telling us that for us to join the team, we have to battle the boss man. We got to take on Cyrus himself in a proper battle. He tells us about the region, his goals, and why we should be part of Team Galactic. Well, guess what? It's our job to take him down now. So the battle kicks off, and this is going to be a pretty crazy one. So we can actually choose if we want to do a double battle or not. He's got a Gliscor, which he's got 2 times attack. I think he Swords Dance there, but he switches it out for whatever reason. So we go in with Luxray to make sure we deal with his Gyarados. Here we're able to do a little bit of damage before he takes us down with Earthquake. And here's pretty much an Earthquake spam before we actually take it out. He also has a Rotom. We do get hit with a Will-O-Wisp, which is annoying, but we did get the Calm Minds off, so when the Honchkrow comes out, we are in a bit of trouble. We go for the Poison Gas, which is good enough, but we also have to revive a few of our Pokemon, otherwise we don't really stand much of a chance. So now in this case, we go in with Gardevoir, which we are able to take this thingy down with a Dazzling Gleam. Gliscor is out next. Same thing here. We have to kind of revive our Pokemon and rely on our teammates as much as we can. Pelipper does do a lot of damage here, but there is a Skarmory to deal with next, which is literally just annoying because it has _4 defense, okay? +4 defense here, which is crazy, man. So it's a lot of switching in and out, reviving Pokemon, hoping we're able to, just survive it long enough to revive enough teammates to be able to take down the Skarmory. And of course, this is a Steel type, so it's not really going to do much with a lot of our moves. We try to go for Confusion here, but it keeps roosting itself. And eventually, with the Confusion on it, is the only reason we actually win. If we didn't get the Confusion from Confusion, we wouldn't have actually gotten this Pokemon. Last up is going to be Weavile. Here, we make sure to revive one Pokemon just just in case. And then we make sure to finish it off with a soccer punch. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are now a part of Team Galactic. Yes, we're about to join Team Galactic and be a part of this organization. And I'm honestly all aboard for it, man. I love, Team Galactic is one of my favorite ones. I'd gladly be part of taking over the world and creating a brand new universe. I think that'd be pretty lit. And guess what, ladies and gents? That's also where this journey ends. Yes, that is the end of the journey. That's the end of the game. If you guys want to check it out on your own and see what kind of team you guys can create along your journey to become a Team Galactic member, then please do check it out. This is an awesome game from the Winter Game Jam from Relic Castle. And shout out to the developers of this. It was honestly fantastic. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys the next time.